Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. This is Starsector, and it is a fun little game, not available on Steam. It is by an indie developer. It's been around for quite a while, and we've been playing through it. I think this is probably episode maybe 10 or 11, depending on how you count them up. And really, I'm just trying to show the game off a little bit, what I know about it, which is very limited. I am not an expert. I have been playing the game a little bit, and I know some things, but some things are still really mysterious and elusive to me. But what I thought we would talk about today is the map. We haven't really gone over it too much, and we'll do some navigation and go visit some places. But this is our system map. We're right here right now. This window here represents how zoomed in we are on this screen. But we're right here. We just left this station. And we are going to head out to the sector. If we look at the sector, we have some stars that don't have names, and we have stars that do have names. The stars that have names have been explored. That's one way to know what you're getting into. I think we're going to head over to this one. It's called Penelope Star. It is, I believe it's always in this location, but it is unexplored. We're going to head over there and see what it's about. I point that out because the game does apparently randomly generate the outer rim, but the inner planets, basically the ones that are named here, these are always going to be pretty much the same. And I think this is one of those that's included in that grouping. I'm not sure about, these other close nearby systems. I haven't played enough to pay attention to learn the names. So there you have it. Although Kestrel feels like it's often in this spot. So it's possible it goes out a little further than just the named planets, but you should see some differences out on the edges out here. Now, one thing I want to show is this one right here, fuel range. If you look at fuel range, this is where we are. And there we go. Get it in the center. These two colors, what does that mean? Well, basically, this is showing us how much fuel we have with regards to how far we can travel. And there's two shades because one of these is halfway, which means anything in this, I don't know if you want to call it darker or brighter, honestly. Anything in the inner circle here, we could get to and get back to where we are on the fuel that we currently have. That does make some assumptions. We're not running from pirates. We don't run into these lanes that drag us away massively, and we'll talk about those, I think, here in a few minutes as well. But that's the idea. And then the outer one is one-way trip. We could get all the way out to here, for instance. It'll take us 58 days, which is going to be one heck of a lot of supplies. Probably don't have the supplies to do that, but we do have the fuel. We have the fuel to get it done. So that is what these circles are. Some other things here are exploration, and that's where you can kind of see the stars that do or don't have names, and it gives you a little information about them. I do not know what all the symbols mean. Here is an X. Here is an X. Maybe it just means that it's explored. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. Am I on the wrong keys? I'm not on the wrong keys. Let's jump back to that. There we go. Yeah, I'm not fully certain what we're looking at. That I know I haven't visited all these places, so that's not what it is. Isn't there a legend? I think there's a legend somewhere. Maybe not. Okay. Well, until further information comes along to tell us otherwise, I'm going to guess that that's what it means. Whether or not they're inhabited or not, I think these are uninhabited. Man, maybe not, because we clearly know that these have things. So, yeah, I'm not fully understanding what those colors are. Oh, that's an unexplored system right there. Okay, fair enough. So we don't know of any inhabited areas in this one. Be another one to go visit. Let's go over here to Penelope Star, though. I think that feels like a good destination to try, and we will lay in a course, jump out here and unpause and get going. And that's going to take us very near the sun. We're going to kind of bypass that a little to save a little on supply. And when you bypass by clicking, if you hit A, that'll take you back to your original plan, back to the target you were trying to get to. I'm going to need to slow down as we pass through here. How about we go through it as long as we can? Not a very good choice there. There we go, and we'll hit A. Going in the right direction again. That wasn't the initial plan, but there we have it. And I'm going too fast here, so I'm going to have to turn this off. And that should slow me down enough to be able to catch that bad boy. I'm going to go ahead and leave the, you know what, I'm going to turn the transponder off. Let's see if we can avoid any pirates. And ooh, this is a little dense, so we're going to try coming down this way. And then maybe we'll jibe up that way. We're going to hit some of these. They're going to throw us. As you can see, you speed way up, and sometimes that can be great, right? It can throw you right in the direction you want to go. Other times, not so much. And yeah, so that's something to pay attention to. And this is how you could potentially not have enough fuel to get somewhere that it otherwise looks like you should. Okay, we're going to return to autopilot. Pass a little south of that one. As much as there's a south in space anyway, right? All right, well, we're getting there. Man, it's a little further than I realized. And we hit some storms that threw us way the heck off. Hopefully, I'm going to kill this. That'll get us moving back towards our goal. Oh, don't like seeing that. They're coming hard. Hopefully they're not pirates. They are. Get out of here. We're in trouble. All right. They are a salvage fleet. Yeah, they're a salvage fleet. Okay. You know what? This might be a battle we go ahead and take on, and I might lose everything. And if I do, game over, man. Game over, right? But I have a feeling we have a fighting chance here. Well, they do have a lot of combat freighters. They don't tend to be terribly strong, though. I don't know. I'm not good at the combat in this game. I tend to avoid it where I can. Space combat it's an interesting intellectual problem. Not handled very well by science fiction in general. There are some series that handle it very, very well. They tend to be few and far between. So I tend to avoid it anyway, but let's go ahead. Let's do it. You know what? Worst thing that happens, I have to reload the game. And we are not going to transfer command. So I initially thought that meant, oh, let somebody else run the battle for me. That's not what that means. It basically means you're going to change which ship is your capital ship, your flagship. Well, I'm going to stay on the support carrier, and I'm going to use these guys offensively. And we're going to, you know what? We're including everything. This one's going to be a little expensive for us. But we're deploying everything. Yeah, that's a lot of supply. But I think we need to do that. Okay, some of the ships marked for low combat readiness. Yeah, well, they can be decoys at the worst. So we'll do that. You know, I should reconsider this. There are a couple of ships that don't make sense, like the light tanker, and it looks like it did not try to deploy those for us. So yeah, we do want to avoid that. The tankers should not get in. The elite transport, his combat readiness is super low, although he would be a great one to have in the fight. We'll go ahead and hold off on him. Bring him in if we absolutely must. So we're going to go with that. And I'm going to start by hitting U to turn on autopilot, and then we're going to let it rip. Now I can still give tactical or strategic advice. I can tell certain groupings to go in certain directions. Can have them, I think I can do this. Yeah, there we go. They'll move to that waypoint, for instance. And then I can circle them in to go after that guy. This guy is bailing. Why is he bailing? So we'll see how this plays out. And am I on autopilot still? I am. Okay. I like it that way. Let's see what ends up happening here. Oh. That's our hammerhead. If we can take out one or two of theirs before they get any of ours, I think we'll be in really good shape. And that one's going down pretty quickly. All things considered. Although he's actually hanging in there okay. There we go. One down. That helps tremendously. Might get the rest to break because of that. They start to get upset. Their combat readiness will start to drop. I think we can, if we right click, can we... I'm not sure. I was thinking we could, oh, on this screen, I think. If we select this, we can hit feed, and it'll focus on that ship now. We can watch from there, see what's going on. And again, I'm just not very good at these battles. I probably could stand to practice them more. And one of the modes of the game is to just do the battles. So you can certainly do that. Yeah, I prefer doing it as like a industry builder kind of game myself. And that's going down pretty quick. That's not what I meant, but okay. Back on my ship for doing that. So we will come back up here. Let's grab this guy again. And that horn was reminding us that some of our ships are approaching their combat readiness limit. But I think we're going to see this guy go down really, really fast now. There he goes. He's done. We're going to win this battle. Rest are running. Oh, we lost one though. Okay. Well, we don't like that, but we'll make up for it. Yeah, our cruiser has no hull damage at all. That's great. Our carriers are doing just fine. Starting to retrieve. Yep, there we go. We're all done. So we disabled or destroyed a couple of theirs. Several of theirs. Not their big ships, though. It was all kind of the supplementary things. I almost want to press the battle. As we can see, our combat readiness is low, but so is theirs. They're better off than we are, though. Probably should run. Let's go ahead. Okay, harrying their retreat reduces the combat readiness of all disengaging ships as if they were deployed into combat. Also slows down your fleet for a while as your forces require time to reorganize after the harassing action. Let them go is probably our best bet here. We're going to do that, and we're going to consider ship recovery. Standard recovery, well, we want the Buffalo back. That's for sure. I think we probably want that one. That's one of theirs. I don't think that was us. Difficult recovery, which would require story points. I'm not sure I really want to spend story points just yet. Oh, here's another thing I really got wrong, folks. These dashes. I think I did correct this in one of my last videos, but these dashes, I was thinking it was experience for some reason. I don't know why I was thinking that. This is actually how damaged the ship is. It's literally the number of systems that are compromised. So this ship is actually in really good shape. We're going to recover that one. This one has 2 systems that are damaged. And there you can see it right there, lasting damage, degrading life support, compromised armor. This one's going to have 3 of those. Structural damage, erratic fuel injector, unreliable subsystems. And these are going to have 4. So we're going to leave those alone. We'll just scrap those. We're going to recover these degraded life support. What is it? It's a standard combat freighter. I think you can get information on them. Can't remember how you do that though. Oh, F1. There you go. Or F2. F1 is more info. And I'm assuming that's on this specific ship, or maybe it is on the series. And F2 is the, yeah, okay. So we're going to exit out. Oh, consider ship recovery. Let's do that again. We want ours. We'll take the easy ones, and we're going to leave the rest. I'm not going to recover this one, actually. We'll scrap that as well. So we'll only be picking up a ship or 2, but there we have it. And we're going to pick through the wreckage. And there's some supply. That'll be helpful. I mean, we're going to take everything. Any really good weapons? Not really. Another thing that I haven't focused on is what the different weapons do. There's a good weapon. We'd probably want to see about outfitting that on a ship. I need to learn a little bit more about how the weapons interact. I haven't been great about that. I sort of assumed the game would take care of that to some extent for me. And clearly it doesn't always. So let's go ahead and head back to where we were going. We were that close. But now we're away from those pirates. Now we could have stuff in system, though there was no warning. New planet data. Wow, there's a lot of systems here. Our planets. We are in a system. Those are planets. Lots of stuff that we could survey. Where are we? We are way in an... Oh, we're right in the middle there. Okay, I see it now. We're here. Debris field? Or is maybe just asteroids? I'm not sure. Wow, a unsurveyed gas giant with a derelict spore ship station. Probably worth looking at. We're going to go there. We're going to go there via whatever this field is up here. And you'll notice our supply is in great demand right now, but that's because we're refitting ships. And that does just look like an asteroid belt. Let's see. Let's pause so I can hold it there. A pitted chunk of metal, ice, or rock hurtling through space, mainly significant for being a navigational hazard. Well, thank you. Yes, we want to avoid those. And we're going to turn on our sustained burn again. Should be straight shotting most of this stuff now. And as you can see, as things get repaired, our supply use goes down, and that's good. We want it to get back down to its minimum. Oh, we got our monthly update. So another month has passed, folks. We are going to survey this planet. I mean, it's a gas giant. There's not a whole lot to do, I don't think. We will potentially use, I mean, it's possible to lose all these things. Never have lost all of them, but it's possible. And then we will lose the supplies. We're going to lose 115 supplies to do this. So hopefully it's worthwhile. We're going to perform the survey. I do like the idea of exploring. We got a lot of experience. We're not going to get a lot of money for it, though. It's actually a pretty dead world, a class 1. Not surprised with it being a gas giant, but we are not planning on building something here. We're going to leave, but we are going to go visit its space station. There that is. Okay, a primary reactor and all valuable industrial components have been stripped. Yep, not surprised. Passive backup systems were crippled by the process and the station too far from the primary to receive enough energy to maintain life support. All right, a minor warning blip on your nav computer informs you that the orbit of the station is decaying and that it will burn up in the atmosphere within 500 years. I'm guessing is what a cycle is, a year. So I would assume it means a human year as opposed to an annular around its sun, but don't know for sure. Okay, nothing to see there. We're going to come out here, and something you can do, we haven't done a lot of it, but you can randomly ping. And sometimes, every once in a while, you'll find something. Usually it'll happen like outside of asteroid belts and things like that. Not normally like on the I'm going to call it the routes that would run between worlds. You don't usually see them there. Let's go survey one other planet. Let's do this one. Man, that's a red giant. Okay. Stable locations. Stable locations are where you can put things like satellites or communication hubs, things like that. I did not hit the right button. It's a right click. Got to remember that. Right click it. And we're going to turn super burn back on. When you do a ping, it does kill that for you. Okay. Well, we're okay on fuel. Supply could become an issue. We're going to need to be a little careful about that. Maybe we'll find something here, though. You never know. Speed things up. And again, repairs completing, ships ticking down on the supplies per day. Here we go. This will be, I mean, we don't have a lot of supply and it's going to cost us some here. Hopefully it's less than 100. Oh, it's tremendously less than 100. That's good. This is the most habitable planet we've seen so far at 125%. Everything's been 200 or above, I think. So we're going to go ahead and run this survey. Cross our fingers. A class 3. That'll be a little bit of money. That's good. That's good. Also moderate ore deposits. So we know that about this world now. And we're not ready to establish colonies. So we're just going to leave and leave. Okay, I think it would be wise to start heading back to our home, but I did want to talk about these things down here. And we do have plenty of fuel. What really could be a problem is supply. We want to be very careful about that. But in the meantime, let's come take a look at what these are. Is it escape? It's escape. So we're going to go take a look there. Warp jump. And we're going to jump to hyperspace. Yay. Supply use is dropping again. That's good. We are going to try to avoid that storm because, as we've seen, that can be really costly. Sometimes you just don't care. You're almost rooting for the bonus of the getting pushed hard in the right direction, but it is relatively random. I guess over time, it's probably been more beneficial than not. Usually it sends you in a direction similar to where you're going. All right, so this is what we're seeing. What this is it's a jet stream, I guess is the way to think of it. If we enter that, we will use very little power to move. The problem is it can be a little difficult to get out of. So I'm going to go ahead and enter this one, and you'll see we just start shooting. But, oh, this one ends here, so that wasn't so bad. But yeah, that's kind of the thing about them is you're along for the ride. It's not something you can jump into and jump right out. You can get out of them, but it is not super simple to do that. We're going to go back home to Arcadia or Arcadia. I can't remember how we said it. Why am I didn't do this right. That's what it's telling me. We're going to hit this, and I want to right click that. There we go. Heading back, and I'm going to go ahead and fly through this one. Let's see what happens. The brighter they are, the more frequently they will flash lightning like that. And as you can see, that probably wasn't the worst thing. Between the two of them, it shot us rapidly in the direction of what we wanted to go. However, it damaged one of our ships, so we are going to have to pay some supply to fix that. But we moved much faster, so, how do you want to look at it? We're going to order a jump, and it should remind us, hey, your transponder's off. I really like that. I don't know if when I first played the game, if it did that when you went into a surveyed system. It probably did, but I just don't remember it. But we are indeed going to turn it on. We don't want them shooting at us. Usually they'll give you a buy once in a while, or once or twice, as long as you're friendly with them. If you're not, you could end up in some trouble. And we're going to go to, where are we? We're here. I guess we want to go to Citadel. Yeah, I would think everything in here is surveyed. Looks like it all is. We're going to go there. I keep left clicking, folks, and it should be right clicks. I got to remember that. We'll right click there. And yeah, that's good. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to take a peek at, and I don't remember what it was. Okay, fully surveyed. Makeshift nav buoy. That's what I was curious about, the X. Maybe the X means fully surveyed. This one is not fully surveyed, so there's question marks. Okay, 7 unsurveyed planets, 2 fully surveyed planets. All right, here we go. We're gonna go dock. Get some supplies that we need. And I don't think you generally hit asteroids on rings around planets. I don't think that's usually something you have to worry about too much. We are first going to go buy. Actually, what we should do is repair. That was easy. And now we're going to go buy and sell. We could sell this data. We can sell, we usually sell this. Boom, there you go. I want to hang on to that. That's $1,200, and I think it was $2,500 when we were looking at it just natively. We'll hold on to the weapons this time and see if there's something we can figure out to use. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the survey data. It isn't a bad idea to, so let's read that real quick. This tripad data contains a recent survey database which holds information on the economic industrial and strategic qualities of a celestial object organized according to the traditional guidelines of the domain colonial ministry. Surveys such as this are an essential element of successful military operation, colonization efforts, and corporate ventures. The data contained herein is entirely unremarkable. Just another rock. If we look at this one, the last line there says, the survey describes a world useful for human exploitation and will sell for a good price. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and sell them. I think that's just easier now, although we're not hurting for money. But the thing is you want to kind of know where those good worlds were. And I don't know if there's a way to view that information. Hey, where was this one? I don't see anything in the detail there. What if we F2 it? No, it's just the basic explanation. So I don't know if there's a solid reason to hold on to those, other than you might want to make some sort of note as to where you got a particular one when it's good. All right, so we are going to sell that stuff, and we're going to buy some supply. Hey, supplies are a little cheaper than they used to be. And I'm going to go until the unit price is up to 35. Well, we'll just do the whole thing. Yep. Now we have plenty of that. We're going to buy some fuel. I don't think we have to buy all the fuel. Let's go ahead and buy 300 units. We're set on fuel. We're set on supplies, though we could hold plenty more. So I think we're good there. We're spending 50,000, and that doesn't even include buying a ship. But there we go. Okay, then let's go to refit. So we have those ships that were kind of wrecked. We need to refit those. I'm going to go ahead and go to auto fit, and we're going to accept, I don't know, let's accept assault on this one, and we'll confirm that. And we'll go with, let's go with shielded on this. I'm not really sure what that will do for us, but there we have it. All of our points are otherwise used. Getting rid of these damaged things is very expensive. If we come and look at this one, for instance, restore, costs 66,000 credits. Note that the hull will not be affected beyond demod removal and will not be converted to the base hull for this ship type. It's more expensive than buying a new hull and is usually reserved only for the rarest ships. Yeah, so you don't want to necessarily be doing that to your ships. Now, I suppose if you're like into the role-playing or storyline behind something, maybe this ship is particularly important to you or close to your heart. I could see maybe doing it at that point. This one, let's see what this one would cost. It just has the one problem. It's not that much cheaper, honestly. So just something to consider. We could do that. And then we also can manually adjust weapons. Let's look at our cruiser. What somebody told me is there was an energy, one of the comments was that I had a system that didn't have the right weapon in it. And I need to learn a little bit more about how to control the weapons and how you load out your ship. If we strip it, what I know to do is to go to auto fit and it will put weapons on. But we also, I see, so we can also click on them and it will show us what we own that can go into a particular slot. And we can balance it out that way. So that's something to play with and learn more about. I don't have a whole lot of information on it. We would want to look at these because so this is like close range, shooting down missiles that are nearby. A tactical laser, standard combat laser, useful at medium to long ranges, a very flexible weapon, especially effective against unshielded targets. Kind of like that. We'll go with him. And essentially that's what we would want to do here is go through the number of ordnance points. Well, we know how many we have available. That's right here, 140 total, and currently we're only using 27. We would continue to do this. And then also you have to remember that capacitors and vents will cost you as well. And we want to have a certain number of those. I think a good idea is to start with the outfitted ship from AutoFit, see what it's kind of suggesting, and then tailor from there. That's what I think would make the most sense. You can also add things onto your ship. If I recall, we can add auxiliary thrusters or really any of these things that make sense to us. I suppose you can get rid of them too. You can take them off. Dedicated targeting core, we can take that off. If this is a cargo ship that's all we're using it for, maybe that makes sense. Maybe we put in some shielding so it just doesn't get blown up if we get jumped or something like that. So there's all these kind of options you have in here. I will see what I can learn about those here in the very near future, and I'll pass along what I do learn. We can also build in some things, and I'm not quite sure how that interacts either. Feels like it should almost be the same thing, but it is a little different. Increases the survey cost reduction by 100%. Adding survey equipment, that would be fantastic if that's the game you're playing. And I do like that. I like the idea of we primarily are investigating planets. So that's kind of cool. A couple of things to look at. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. I'll try to bring another one here pretty quickly. And but I do feel like I got a little homework I need to do. So I'm gonna jump around in there a little bit, learn a little more, and then we'll see where things land. I do want to thank you for joining me on this journey. I'm really enjoying Starsector. Hope you're taking a look at it and maybe considering picking it up. It is not available on Steam. You have to get it direct from the developer. What I can say is my experience has been very positive and safe with said developer, you do need to hold on to the key that you get, but I think you can retrieve it through email as long as you have the email that you bought the game with and things like that. So do know that while it's a little different than a normal transaction, there are others out there who've done it and been completely satisfied, and it's been a safe experience for them. All right, until next time, fair travels.